Hello, the Pioneer viewers. As you know, our agenda is the Russia-Ukraine war. The war continues at the full intensity on the front line. Developments on the front line makes it easier for us to make predictions about the future of the war. The conditions of the war force the parties to make difficult decisions, and it is these moments that the real difficulties begin. An army must have soldiers who are adapted to the conditions of the war. Soldiers need to adapt to the situation and complete the given tasks in the most accurate way. The equipments and vehicles used by the soldiers during the mission are also very important. Armored vehicles, which are specially used in the frontline battles, are of a great importance for an infantry army. Armored infantry vehicles allow soldiers to move faster and more comfortably to the operations areas under the harsh conditions. But they can also make them open targets. Single trip can therefore be dangerous. Following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, there have been many interesting developments on the front line. Today, the cold and the harsh climate conditions make the war even more challenging. While the war continues, political leaders are trying to maneuver in their own spheres. In Russia especially, the bureaucrat class seems to be tense before the upcoming elections. The growth of an operation movement in the days when the Russian people are increasing their reactions could be the beginning of the end for Putin. The Ukrainian army, on the other hand, is making moves to increase its power. Actively using Western support, the Ukrainian army is putting on a show on the battlefield. The video published by the Ukrainian army recently reached thousands of people in a short time. In the videos published by the Ukrainian army, Bradley combat vehicles sent by the US were mobilizing against Russian forces. Now, if you are ready, let's examine the latest developments on the battlefield together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to report on Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us. Let's start if you are ready. The Pioneer reports. Recently, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense shared a video from the battlefield. In the video shared by the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, Bradley infantry fighting vehicles sent by the US to the Ukrainian army were seen moving against Russian troops. It was stated that the video shared by the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense was shot near the Avdiivka. In the published video, Bradley was firing intensively at the Russian positions from a considerable distance. The comments on the shared video were full of enthusiasms and excitement. Many social media users stated that there is no place for invaders on the Ukrainian territory. There were many messages of support for the Bradley vehicles as an important element of the force against the Russian invaders. Kiev has been using military aid from the United States and its NATO allies since Russia, its significantly larger neighbor in terms of both geography and population, launched its invasion in February 2022. According to the military expert, the M2 and the M3 Bradley fighting vehicles are lightly armored transport vehicles that provide cross-country mobility, firepower, and protection from the artillery and small arms fire. The M2 version is also equipped with a 25mm cannon effective against most armored targets and can be devastating against lightly armored targets 2.3 miles away with its anti-tank missile. Since the outbreak of the war, Washington has been among Ukraine's biggest supporters, providing more than $75 billion in the military and humanitarian aid. Aid to Ukraine has become a bipartisan issue in Congress, with many Democrats and Republicans criticizing it for harming Russia's military capabilities and furthering U.S. security interests. But some conservatives believe that the billions spent on Ukrainian military aid should instead be spent on strengthening the U.S.-Mexico border. The U.S. and NATO countries continue to support Ukraine. The Ukrainian army needs to continue to receive support in order to continue fighting in winter conditions. There are problems with the delivery of aid to Ukraine. The ongoing blockade on the Polish border is delaying the delivery of supplies to Ukraine. Trucks and turnstiles heading to Ukraine's war zone are among the items stuck in a mile-long line on the Polish border. As Polish truck delivers blocked the border in freezing temperatures, Components to build drones to fight Russian forces also faced weeks of delays. Russian President Vladimir Putin initially hoped for a quick victory in a special military operation he'd launched in Ukraine in February 2022, but a stronger-than-expected defense effort backed by billions of dollars in aid from allies like Poland has prevented Russian forces from achieving their goals. Polish protesters say their livelihoods are at the stake after the European Union relaxed transportation rules, which Ukrainian truckers claim undermines their business. So they're trying to block transportation in the border region, but these protests are life-threatening. Two humanitarian organizations, the Kolo Foundation, which helps the Ukrainian military with battlefield technology, and Come Back Alive, Ukrainian's largest charity providing equipment to the military, said that the Polish blockade is hurting their efforts and further jeopardizing the war effort against Russia. Ukrainian authorities and officials in other European countries are working to resolve the problem as soon as possible. Disruptions in vital transportation are expected to return to normal as soon as possible. While these are the developments behind the front line, there have been interesting developments on the front line. In the past days, the Russian army attacked Ukrainian targets. A statement was made by the Ukrainian armed forces later last night. According to the statements made by the Ukrainian Air Force, Russian troops attacked Ukraine. The 18 drones used by the Russian army to attack Ukraine were destroyed by the Ukrainian defense. In the attack in the Mikhailov region, the Ukrainian defense destroyed all Russian troops participating in the attack. In the clashes that continued into the morning, Russian troops targeted the Kiev region with the ballistic missiles, but the Ukrainian defense destroyed those missiles as well. The strong position of the Ukrainian defense greatly hinders the motivation of the Russian troops to attack. The Ukrainian defense, which has a high success rate, has been working with a disciplined system since the first days of the war. The Ukrainian defense, which conducts constant reconnaissance and observation activities, is also supported by a solid intelligence network. The strong positions of the Ukrainian defense continues to reassure the Ukrainian people. What do you think about the Ukrainian army's Bradley vehicles? How do you think the Ukrainian army's position in the war can be evaluated? How do you think the war will be affected if US and NATO support the Ukrainian army is cut off? What do you think about the problems on the Polish border? Do you think Ukrainian defense is successful? We care about your opinion. Please share it with us.